We have to dispel with this ridiculous and, quite frankly, dumb notion that the employees are really lackeys at Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, are these big brain geniuses who are taking a new approach to trimming the fat and getting rid of the waste in government that no one ever could have thought of before because they're these tech geniuses. Oh, they're so smart. It's just not true. Elon didn't bring these kids in because they're smart. He brought them in because they're loyal and because they don't know what they're doing. That's the point. They don't care about these programs. They don't understand them. And so they are more likely to help Elon get rid of them. That is all part of the plan. And it is a plan that is profoundly dangerous. And that's not just my opinion. Donald Trump has actually just recently realized it after Elon and his stooges fired some of the most important federal employees, who Trump is actually now begging publicly in a humiliating way to come back to him. And we are going to get into all of that. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way, and it really does mean a lot to me. Now, before we get into this story, Rachel Maddow did a great job recently detailing all of these failures at Doge that I think adds some color to this story. So before we get into this breaking news, let's hear from Rachel Maddow.
But today, people started gingerly asking if perhaps Mr. Musk just didn't know that in an older version of the programming language that is used by the Social Security Administration, when you didn't have a date to enter in a particular field, it would code it as 150 years ago. It would code it as 1875. The year 1875 is essentially an error message to let you know that there isn't a real date in that record, and so you should treat that as an error and find out what went wrong. Does he know that, or does he really think those are records for 150-year-old people? Does he know what he's looking at when he's pawing through your Social Security records? Remember, it's their technical prowess and know-how that's supposed to impress us and make us think this is somehow different than when a far-right, power-mad, doomed president tried to do this exact same thing in 1973. We're supposed to be intimidated here. That measles outbreak we told you about last night in West Texas, it has now doubled in size as of today. The CDC also has fired as many as 1,300 people today. The intelligence staff at the Department of Energy sent its staff an urgent warning about how to respond to Elon Musk's team seeking access to sensitive classified materials about nuclear weapons. And at the National Nuclear Security Administration today, which is responsible for keeping our nukes safe, they fired a significant portion of their staff today, hundreds of staff members. Yesterday, we got word that Trump and Musk's little squad of genius web developers and software engineers, the folks who may have accidentally posted the classified information on their website and left open some sort of back door so that random members of the public can post stuff on it. That genius squad has now reportedly been sent into the IRS. So now that group is in there with your tax information. While tonight we get word that at the IRS, just ahead of tax filing season, they are about to fire thousands, maybe 9,000 people who actually work there to handle your taxes. The combination of the smash and grab by the supposedly high-tech team and the mass firing of people who actually do know what they're doing means real material harm is being done to our country. And it will take a long time to repair it when we finally get to start.
These guys are just not smart. We have to stop treating Doge in any way, shape, or form like it is a legitimate agency with good people working at it. These are unqualified kids who know nothing about government, and the ones that are nice, okay, whatever, I don't care. I don't want them to have my Social Security number, but the majority of them are the type of people who were tweeting what? That they were racist before it was cool, saying horrible things about Indian Americans. This is just ridiculous that anyone wants to treat Doge like it's a legitimate organization, especially after what it recently did, which is costing Donald Trump and leading to him begging for federal employees to come back in a story I want to get into right here. Let's take a look. The Trump administration tries to bring back fired nuclear weapons workers. The Trump administration has halted the firings of hundreds of federal employees who are tasked with working on the nation's nuclear weapons programs. The Trump administration has halted the firings of hundreds of federal employees tasked with working on the nation's nuclear weapons programs in an about-face that has left workers confused and experts cautioning that DOG's blind cost-cutting will put communities at risk. 3 U.S. officials who spoke to the Associated Press said up to 350 employees at the National Nuclear Security Administration were abruptly laid off late Thursday, with some losing access to email before they learned they were fired, only to try to enter their offices on Friday morning to find they were locked out. The officials spoke on the condition of anonymity for fear of retaliation. One of the hardest hit offices was the Pantex plant near Amarillo, Texas, which saw about 30% of the cuts. Those employees work on reassembling warheads, one of the most sensitive jobs across the nuclear weapons enterprise with the highest levels of clearance. The hundreds let go at NNSA were part of a DOGE purge across the Department of Energy that has targeted about 2,000 employees. The DOGE people are coming in with absolutely no knowledge of what these departments are responsible for, said Darrell Kimball, executive director of the Arms Control Association, referencing Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency team. They don't seem to realize that it's actually the Department of Nuclear Weapons more than it is the Department of Energy. By late Friday night, the agency's acting director, Teresa Robbins, issued a memo rescinding the firings for all but 28 of those hundreds of fired staff members. The letter serves as a formal notification that the termination decision issued to you on February 13th has been rescinded effective immediately, said the memo. The accounts from 3 officials contradict an official statement from the Department of Energy, which had fewer than 50 National Nuclear Security Administration staffers were let go. But that wasn't the case. The firings prompted one NNSA senior staffer to post a warning and call to action. This is a pivotal moment. We must decide whether we are truly committed to leading on the world stage or if we are content with undermining the very systems that secure our nation's future. Deputy Division Director Rob Plonsky posted to LinkedIn. Cutting the federal workforce responsible for these functions may be seen as reckless at best and adversarially opportunistic at worst. Are you kidding me? Slashing our nuclear programs at a time when Donald Trump is essentially inviting dictators all over the world, our adversaries, to do whatever they want while our allies trust us less and less every day as we, launch trade wars with them? This is stupidity at its finest. This is what MAGA is cheering on. These former security hawks who care so much allegedly about stopping China, but we're de-arming our nuclear arsenal? This is absolutely insane. We are leaving this country more dangerous every single day because of the dumbasses at DOGE and Elon Musk. It is absolute insanity. It is crazy. These people are dangerous. They don't know what they're doing. They don't. And what makes it even worse is that the government budget, the percentage of it made up by federal employees, is about 2.1%. So if you slash that by 50%, an absurd number, how much are you saving us? It is a crazy notion. And it is, again, the point we have to make that goes to show they don't care about cuts. They don't care about efficiency. They don't care about saving money. This is all about intimidation. People don't know if they're going to come back. Some of the smartest and most qualified people in the world to do the most important jobs probably won't come back to them out of fear of retribution or that they might just get fired again. Why would you want that? Why wouldn't you just take the job security you could find in the private sector? It is insane, and it is embarrassing us on the world stage, just as J.D. Vance and Pete Hegseth did earlier this weekend, and Rachel Maddow really broke that down so perfectly.
Talk all we want about values. Values are important. But you can't shoot values. You can't shoot flags, and you can't shoot strong speeches.
You can't, shoot with them? Or you can't shoot at them? You can't shoot... Are we sure he's not talking about, shots? You know what I mean? U.S. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth at a meeting of the NATO defense ministers this week. I think that was supposed to sound tough, came off a little more like something your least favorite uncle posts on Facebook next to a picture of an assault rifle and like 9 empty beer cans. But Secretary Hegseth began this trip by bewildering not just our allies, but also a lot of people in Washington when he inexplicably blurted out that any peace deal in the Russia-Ukraine war would have to include Ukraine giving up its territory and abandoning its bid to join NATO. That would imply that the peace talks have already happened and Ukraine already had to give everything up. Why would they talk? We mentioned last night that Secretary Hegseth has now tried to walk those comments back, but I think it is worth you hearing exactly how he started his remarks when he was trying to take back what he said the other day.
As it pertains to NATO membership not being a realistic outcome for negotiations, that's something that was stated as part of my remarks here, as part of the coordination with how we're executing these ongoing negotiations.
That was, can you say that again? Can we diagram that sentence? That's something that was stated as part of my remarks. It's like he asked ChatGPT to come up with the most passive voice way to say, you know what, I need to take back that dumb thing I said. It's not just our allies abroad who reacted negatively to Pete Hegseth's comments. After Hegseth made those comments, the Republican chairman of the Senate Armed Services Committee, Senator Roger Wicker, responded by saying, quote, "I'd prefer we don't give away negotiating positions before we actually get started." After Hegseth then tried to take it back, walk back what he'd said and say he didn't really mean it, Senator Wicker then responded again, saying, quote, "He made a rookie mistake. I don't know who wrote the speech. It's the kind of thing Tucker Carlson could have written. And, quote, Carlson is a fool."
This is just absurd. We are worse off and creating chaos and concern for our allies, and it is getting worse every day, and we have to use our voices to call it out. This is truly crazy stuff, and we're going to be talking about it every single day on the show. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button. You can leave a like on this video, and if you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.